Hello there, Ray here, and you guys had a lot of questions about the Allay. So we spent an entire stream testing all of your different guys' ideas and also seeing which farms they would probably be pretty good in. And at the end of the video, we'll be looking at some more sneak peeks that were given out for the 1.19 update. Thank you guys so much for all the support in the last video. Make sure you guys leave a like on this one as well as subscribe. And if you guys want me to test anything specific, tell me in the comments. Now let's get into everything we found out. You can give the Allay a totem of undying. Let's go ahead and see if it actually prevents him from dying. Is it considered like an actual item in his hands or not? Hold still. Oh wow, it actually does work. So he just, instead of dying, he just used up the totem, and he also got the different effects with it as well. That's pretty cool. So we gave this guy a ender pearl, and we'll see if he actually throws the ender pearl or if he'll just drop it as an item. And it looks like he just drops the item. He doesn't actually teleport him when he throws it. Now we're going to give some speed potions to the Allay and see if that helps them be any faster. It definitely looks like it's helping them. They don't seem like they move vertically faster, but they move horizontally faster. Let's give this Allay some thorns armor and see if it hurts us. Doesn't seem like it's actually doing thorns damage to me. It does look like the durability might have went down. So I got a shulker box with some items in it, and we're gonna go ahead and give this to the Allay, and he can pick it up, which is pretty cool. Doesn't seem he cares for different color shulker boxes. Let's put down a empty shulker box, and it looks like he does go after empty ones. So he does recognize the difference between shulker box colors, but not what's inside of them. Let's also try out the invisibility potion. And it looks like it makes them completely invisible, but the items are still there. Kind of cool. So you can have floating items floating around you. Kind of reminds you of like Hogwarts. So you could use Allays to carry your stuff, like this guy's carrying a shulker box. You could get like one more inventory. This could be useful when going to areas where you can't like bring a lot of stuff. Maybe you're going into like a prison. You can get this guy like invisibility, and then you can try to sneak items into areas that you're not supposed to have them, as this guy will be carrying items, but then you can have nothing on yourself. Let's drop some Turtle Master on these guys, and that should make them slow. Seems like they're still able to move fast. We also got slow falling. See if that makes them move any slower. I don't think so. So we'll give this guy a normal piston, and we'll drop a sticky piston and see if you can tell the difference. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going after it. So we'll give this guy a unenchanted sword. It looks pretty cool holding it. And we'll throw out an enchanted one. And he definitely will pick that one up. So he can't tell the difference between the enchantments, but can he tell the difference between actual sword types? We got diamond and put down a stone. And it doesn't look like he's interested in it. Let's see if they go after different types of wood. Doesn't matter what type of wood it is, he tries to pick it up. But once again, this might be a Bedrock problem because in Bedrock, they see all the like plank types as being the same. Let's see if they'll actually take like fire damage if we drop the item onto something that typically burns stuff. Now if Allay is in there, it can take damage from flammable stuff that you stand on, like this campfire here. If we give Allay some raw food, and then we also put some raw food on the campfire, we'll actually go for the items on the fire. Doesn't look like it. Ah, that one caught on fire. Wait, Bedrock Edition can actually catch on fire? Oh, that is definitely different than Java. So Rabbit got cooked, and we'll see if he will try to pick it up. So they can tell the difference between cooked and uncooked. If you drop a whole stack of these items, it picks it all up at once, but then it starts dropping them like one by one, which is kind of strange. Then it ends up picking them back up again. Kind of makes a loop. This also resets the item timing, so their despawn timer. You could use these guys kind of like what I showed with dolphins, where you can use them to reset the time of items despawning. But in most cases, moving items is really fast with water streams, so resetting the timers, as the despawn timers are 5 minutes, it's not really needed as you can move the items really far on ice streams, all the way to their collection area. So we got Allay with the normal book, and we're going to go ahead and drop a writing book as well as an enchanted one. It doesn't seem like it's interested in those. So he has a tipped arrow, and let's go ahead and drop a normal arrow. And he does pick it up, so all the arrows are considered the same. We'll shoot an arrow out, and don't look like they go after this arrow since it's not an item. I gave this guy a trident, but I guess apparently it doesn't show up as an item in his hand. Let's drop a trident and see if he picks it up. Yeah, he's able to pick it up. He just doesn't visually show the trident. They don't seem to pick up the trident being thrown. We'll give this guy some armor, and let's see if he goes in there and actually takes damage. Let it fall away in there. Yeah. He'll actually hurt himself trying to get the item. So we gave this guy a named arrow, and let's throw out a normal one. And he does pick it up. That would be cool if you made it so that if you give him like a normal arrow, then he would be able to pick up like all types of arrows. But if you gave him a specific tipped arrow, then he wouldn't be able to pick up like normal arrows. Something where like you can kind of use it both ways. That would be pretty cool. So as I mentioned before, allays can be actually used to kind of pick up items on a fly machine and automatically deposit them. Go ahead and sync this allay up with this note block here. When you drop an item, he's able to pick it up and drop it near this hopper minecart, so we can actually pick up items and collect them. His actual precision dropping items is a little bit big, so he can drop it like anywhere, so you might need several of these. But in theory, note blocks can be pushed as well as hopper minecarts, both in Bedrock Edition as well as Java, so you can have him pick up items and deposit them. You can come in here and collect them. Even with a simulation distance of 10 chunks, it does seem that the allay kind of frees in some locations, like that guy there is frozen, that guy there is frozen, he's trying to get that block over there. If I get a little bit closer, it looks like he just like froze in place. Maybe he doesn't know how to get that block there or that one. This guy over here also got stuck trying to grab these pieces. All I did was just throw an item that they wanted to get, and then when they went down to grab it, I just walked farther away, but they were still loaded. And I come back, they kind of froze. Looks like these guys able to take off again. Now some of you guys suggested putting item frames on note blocks to see if they would remember those to drop off of their specific item at that specific note block. But as you can see, this guy here went ahead and picked up the item and he dropped it off at me and not the note block. Also in the original post about Allay, they showed cookies. Let's go ahead and see if they will eat any. So they got nothing in their hands, and let's go ahead and right click them. It looks like they just take the cookies, but they don't treat it any differently than any other item. So if we kind of move fast away from the allay, you can see they do get kind of left behind. Like that guy got stuck over there. Even though my render distance is turned up, like just a chunk or two, then they kind of, like all these guys over here that got stuck. Yeah, if they come in close again, they kind of like reanimate. So I gave this allay a green concrete, and we're going to drop a green concrete block over there, and we'll just see how close he gets to it before he notices it. So right now he's kind of floating around the player, but will eventually kind of float closer to it. If we get closer, he'll also get closer. Every time he raises his hands, he's kind of indicating that he sees the item. So now he raises his hands, he sees the item, he'll go over to pick it up, and he brings it back to me. Awesome job. Let's see how far this is. A little over 16 blocks is able to pick up items, which is very limited if you think about it. It can only go out like 16 blocks from the center. The allay can't tell the difference between the different types of splash potions, but it can tell the difference between splash and drinkable. Looks like the noise from the note block is affecting allays 16 blocks away. So this guy remembered that note there. If we come over here, hopefully the allay will follow us, and if we drop ourselves this potion, it looks like if the allay is too far from the note block, then even though he's within the 30 seconds of remembering it, he will just drop the item at the player rather than traveling really far to get to the note block. Now if you encase the note block with wool, actually prevents allays that are behind it from hearing that note block. This could be useful in keeping certain allays to stay with certain note blocks. Okay, it looks like it does drown, takes a little while. Now we'll give this allay a turtle shell helmet. Looks like it's still drowned, and I didn't really see any particles, like he was getting water breathing. So we'll summon in allay inside of bubble columns, and it definitely looks like it's taking effect on it. It's getting pushed all the way up to the very top here. That would allow you to get a little bit more control on these guys. They also don't really have any feet, but they do have kind of like the ghost bottom half where it kind of is ragged like. So we'll put in a nether portal, and it definitely look like they get teleported by it. Okay, we'll go here in the nether dimension, and yeah, they're actually over here. So you could transport them between the different dimensions, so they pick up items and then transport them back over, so they drop them off. Let's also try a end portal, and they go through it, and they made it here into the end dimension. It doesn't seem like the allays will teleport you like a dog does. Would be kind of nice if they could do that, unless you have them connected with a special note block. So with stone stairs, it seemed to ignore the cobble stair. So I gave this allay a shield, and looks like it's similar to the trident where it doesn't show up, and it doesn't seem like it helps them. Allays do take damage from sweet berries when moving through them. So we'll give this guy a tropical fish bucket, and we'll go ahead and drop out a different type of bucket. And it seems like he's not interested in it. Now overall, allays will probably be most useful in being able to pick up non-stackable items. As there is quite a few of them in the game, sorting is probably going to be the best thing that these guys will be useful for. So Allays would be useful in tree farms, as if you blow them up or if you chop them down, the leaves and other items that fall, the Allays can come around and pick those up rather than using water streams. The water streams are a lot more consistent and they are fairly cheap. It seems like Allays are going to be kind of rare, so you might want to use them more specific farms. Another use for the Allays is using them in any type of big mining project, such as like quarrying or just collecting a lot of resources. In this one, I got a tunnel board that's blowing up blocks. And then they can come in and pick up the items. But remember, there's a lot of items. They currently just try to pick up like one group and then unload it before picking them all up before unloading it. They also only go out about 16 blocks, so they don't cover a very large area. You also have to be wary about things that will damage them, such as like TNT explosions or any lava nearby. It would also be useful in a amethyst farm, because currently I have to be really precise on where I put pistons so that they don't drop items on top of areas that can't be collected by our water stream. With the Allays, we can use a lot more of the budding blocks and just have the crystal items fall wherever. Then Allay could come in and easily pick them all up and bring them to a central location. Another useful area might be having squids spawn and then kind of get beached or die. Then the Allay could come in and pick up all the items rather than trying to get all the items to a central location. Now that would also be useful in a villager crop farm, especially one for wheat or beet seeds, because the villagers themselves will only pick up some of the items. And if you fill the villager full of seeds and won't be able to pick up the wheat, then you can come in and have the Allay pick it up rather than using a hopper minecart from underneath. Other areas where they could be useful is farms where it's hard to collect the items, such as like a bamboo sugarcane farm or a chorus farm where the items can sometimes land on the same block where the original vegetation is, in which case they could have them come in and pick those up. Even if you do have a water system, you can still have them come in and pick up the items that get stuck. Now with my raid farm, you do get quite a few different unstackables like iron axes, crossbows, as well as totems of undying, and typically these would all end up in a chest by themselves where other stuff could easily be sorted out with item sorters. But now you could also have these kind of placed in a pile at the end of your sorter and have the Allays come in and maybe just pick out the totems and have the rest of the stuff get pushed into lava every so often. Or you could also have them like sort out the crossbows and use those as a fuel source. Now you could also use this inside of my gold and bartering farm, as bartering produces a lot of different unique items, but I did already make a sorter that can sort out pretty much all of these. And since it can't sort the difference between enchanted books and like enchantments on gear, in some cases it's still not going to be better than what we currently have in the game. Now one use where Allays actually might be better than other places is sorting out different gear that you can get. Now you can get these from like zombies or skeletons and even strays. This is my stray farm here that automatically uses dogs that are considered a player kill, such as armor and bows. And because Allays can tell the difference between different types of armor, it can pull out all the diamond armor and put it into a separate chest, and then you can destroy the rest. So you can actually make a more effective diamond farm. It was possible to sort armor as well as tools before, and this was done by using zombies, but it wasn't as survival friendly as it is going to be with the Allay. It would also be useful when collecting your shulkers manually inside of an end city, because when you kill these guys, the shells would fall down to the bottom, and as you're moving about through different areas, they can come in and pick up all the shells and bring them to you. But one of the downsides is that the Allay is fairly weak and can easily take natural damage. So you can end up dying from a lot of things like these shulkers shooting bullets or lava or cactuses. So they should definitely come out a way that you can protect the guy or even heal him, or make him less likely to get hurt, or make him so he's breedable or easier to get in the first place. Now a lot of the benefits of the Allay are actually not accessible in farms where you have to kill mobs, because typically what you do is you have an area for the mobs to spawn in. Then you bring them to one central location where you kill them. Then you also pick up their items, since they're really easy to pick up in a central location. Now the Allay is able to pick up items in any location, but it's not able to kill mobs in any location. So essentially what you're looking for is some cases where items are spewed about and you don't need a centralized killing system in order to get the items in the first place. So having like a Zoglin go around and kill mobs and then having the Allay come around and pick up the items, but you gotta remember the Allay would also be attacked by the Zoglin. This also applies to like the Johnny Vindicator. Now another farm that produces a lot of variety of items is my AFK Treasure Loot Fish Farm, as it produces enchanted stuff as well as books and a lot of stuff that can't really be easily sorted. Now I did come up with a sorter that can sort out pretty much all this stuff, but it would be cool to have more options, like being able to sort the rods away from the bows, where the Allays could come in for this. It looks like the Allay can sort out the difference between the types of music disc. So it would be possible to actually have the Allay sort music disc rather than using a player, such as in my automatic music disc farm. So one place where the Allay would be very useful is here in my squid ink as well as kelp farm. The way this works is the player AF keeps really high up, so squid spawn near this ocean monument and the guardians kill it. meaning that they drop their ink, which floats to the top, as well as normally there is this fly machine which breaks off the kelp, producing kelp items. But you can not put in the fly machine and just have a Allay here. You wouldn't get any kelp, but you would still get ink. The Allay could come around, pick all the ink off the top, and put it into a central location. I definitely think I'm going to update my farm to do this, as it's going to be really effective. Now there's some more secrets to do with the Allay. In my last Minecraft news video, I talked about these 3 images that Ulrich posted on his Twitter with hidden cryptic messages inside of them. But you guys mentioned that there was more photos in the same group where I found the hidden message. Being a Twitter noob, I just checked his main tweets and missed some of the replies. So in this image here, we talked about this message here saying red sheep, but just before this image was these images here. So if we go ahead and go to this one, you can see there is another hidden message up in the top left corner. So I decoded this one, and this one says Allays with the S, and this is R. So it's like an incomplete sentence. But this image also is the first in 3, and I only found the very last one. So let's go down the row. Nothing in this image, or in this image, or this one. But there is one in this image, top right corner. And when I decoded this one says afraid of. So if we combine these two with the previous ones, it says, Allays are afraid of red sheep. And this is most likely what this message here was referring to, saying that you found one secret, but you missed one. It wasn't that I'd missed one single note, I missed a combination of notes that made one message. So my guess about these hidden messages being about 1.19 was correct, and my hunch about them having to be put together to make a sentence was also correct. So in total, we got 2 messages, Allays are afraid of red sheep, as well as Allays unleashed. The second message probably has to do with them releasing the Allays shortly after Ulrich put in his secret message. Let's go ahead and test this in game. So we'll color this white sheep red and see if the Allay are afraid of it. Here we go, and colored it. I don't think they're afraid of it. Let's go ahead and dye this one blue. You see the evoker does his little thing and he turns it red, but it seems like the Allay are just fine. Let's put in some Allay that aren't like trying to hold items. And these guys don't have to stay by the player, so they can easily just wander off, kind of like a natural mob. But it don't seem like they're moving away from the red sheep any faster than any other mob would. So it could be that this would be a Java edition thing that they haven't added into the Bedrock edition, because Java edition was trying to come out with a 1.19 update on Tuesday, but it wasn't ready to launch. So we'll have to wait to see if it's added into Java. Now, one thing, as I pointed out before, red sheep do have association with evokers, which will turn blue sheep into red sheep. And maybe the Allay are afraid of the evokers because they are illagers, and the illagers are kind of like the corrupt versions of the villagers. So you can kind of see the Allay as being corrupt versions of the Vex. Now, a couple of guys did mention that they should make it so that you could go ahead and cure Vex so that they will turn into Allays, because currently it's pretty hard to get a large amount of these guys, with outposts being relatively rare, and the probability of actually having one of these cages with Allays in them rather than like iron golems makes it even rarer yet. Now, besides finding Allays inside of the cages in pillager outpost, they can also be found in the jails inside of mansions. But mansions are so extremely rare. You most likely would be getting yours from a pillager outpost. Now, there is a small jail, there's also a big jail, which is this one. There's also the really big jail, which has multiple cells and can have the Allays. And when you do find them in these cells, there could be anywhere between 1 and 3 of them. And the Allays are so cool and useful, I think a lot of people would want to have more of them. So we'll see how that goes. So it'll be interesting to see if they add in some kind of Vex curing, or is it even possible for the Allays to get corrupted and turn into Vex themselves. Now, Vindicators, Evokers, Pillagers, and Ravagers, as well as Vex, don't seem like they're attacking these guys, but maybe that'll change in the future as they do attack villagers. Now, besides Bedrock getting the beta, including the Allay, they also got updated so they got the same behavior as Java for shulkers being able to split. That means once you update your Bedrock world, you should be able to build my shulker shell farms to get unlimited amounts of them. I'll have the tutorial for that in the description. Now check out my Farm Everything series, where I'm trying to make a farm for every item in the game of Minecraft. Or this one about how I started in the Nether on a single block and completed the entire game. And don't forget, I do stream every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and you, the viewer, is able to join my world as I test things out. You can find all the information on my Discord linked down below. Thank you guys so much for all the support recently. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!